Oh yeah, and I ran out of coffee, so I've been drinking like Snapple. All right, Q&A time. Q&A time. No questions?
Oh, we can start. Okay. Um, Wait, hold on. Yeah. So I was trying to ask a question last week,
That's
but
right.
I was afraid it was going to be like too long, or it could be extremely short. I don't know.
I'm
Um,
like, two. The answer is two. You're like, what?
okay, I get it. It all makes sense now. Um, so I've actually been thinking about this question a lot. I don't think I've come up with a better way to phrase it other than just saying it and then just figuring out from there. Um, but basically, I'm torn between like two things I want to do, which is like concept art and animation, because
Got it.
like a lot of my favorite artists are like 2D animators, and also a lot of my favorite artists are concept artists. Like, I don't, I think both are really cool, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if job opportunities in the animation area, especially in like the US, like in Japan, obviously. Um, but I know concept art is like big in the states, so um, I I don't know where to go.
What do you like more? If you had to
Uh,
take a guess.
I guess animation, because like you bring things to life, which is really rad.
All right, then do animation. We're done
Okay,
here.
see
So,
the
see ya.
it, no no, but like see, I didn't know if this was gonna be like super short or super
No, it's this.
long.
There's a longer answer. I just was joking.
Okay,
Um, that is the answer, but let's explain why that's the answer. Okay. The answer
okay.
is definitely that it's yes. Let's keep it simple. Like, what do you like more? You like animation? You like concept art? Well, the reason why this is important to answer the way that we did um, is because, like, yeah, you're right. Like, there's all sorts of um, there's all sorts of reasons why one would, um, you know, be interested in doing all these different things. Like, I'm also interested in lots of different stuff. So the reason why you should just pick one now is because there's so little time to really get good at any single one thing,
Hmm.
right? And so if you're sitting there just guessing all the time, you know, like if you're not like making an asserted effort of what you call it, trying to, dude, I can't see anything. It's so dark. Like that's kind of deliberate. But this is one of those situations where actually my monitors, there you go, with lighting, the glare is actually getting in my way. Normally I don't mind. I like the just paint. Um, it's because, when you think of it like the way that I'm explaining it, where, there's many things that you like, but there's only so much time. And so it's best to just focus on like one thing. And then, there's no reason why you can't dabble in other things. You know what I mean? In fact,
Yeah.
I've been going more and more stylized recently because I can't. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's that's there's no reason why that can't be true for you. It just you could totally like learn like multiple disciplines, challenge yourself in multiple ways. You just got to not be afraid to get started.
Hmm.
And then once you start, then you can start changing your mind later, you know, um, after you've kind of established yourself. Because, like I said, it like just moments ago, it's just so little time, you know,
Yeah.
and you want to spend that time wisely. And what I find is that when people start to just decide much more aggressively, you know, and actually begin, um, you'll not only get better faster, you'll have more of an idea of who you are as an artist. And when you build that ability, it's like, you know, you'll realize, oh, yeah, there's time to learn some other stuff. And the things that I learned in that other thing isn't a complete waste. And it's just a matter of really managing your time effectively. It's ultimately what I'm getting at. And so if you're kind of wishy-washy, like, I want to try this, I want to try that, what ends up happening in a lot of situations is that people don't really get good at anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get too caught up in the minutia of like, well, I like everything and I'm not picky, and then they end up picking nothing. Okay, and you want to be very careful of falling into that camp.
Okay.
Okay.
So my other worry is like the job situation, like uh, because I know I've been like following more like video game studios, like they've been doing well in terms of like concept art opportunities, but like and like 2D animation, which is what I would want to get into. Like I don't know if it how like plentiful it is, or if it's not.
Yeah, so again, you're worried about the wrong problem.
Okay.
You're worried about the sustainability versus the what is it that you care about more. Okay? Because if you just want to get a job, then go into banking, you know what I mean? It's pretty secure. There's always going to be a need for banks, right?
Yeah.
And if you're like, well, you know, I want to like, you know, have a job that I have some security. I'm trying to tell you, like, the best way to do that is to be incredibly relevant artist. Just be really good. That's like the recipe for sustainable outcomes. And I was talking to my friend actually. It's interesting that like we're talking about this because he was having a little bit of an existential crisis, and he was just talking to me about it, and he was like, you know, what do you do, man? Like, I'm trying to like, or what was it that he said? Like, why am I not able to cut this out? There you go. He was he was like, you know, like I lost my job, and now I'm just like I don't feel the need to do art anymore, and feel this and this which way, you know, like he feels all sorts of ways about things. And I'm like, well, that's the great conundrum, isn't it? Because the fact that you don't do any art anymore is the very thing that's leading to your depression right now. Is that you need to make more art to create more opportunities. And if you're feeling crappy and you don't make new art, then you're not making new opportunities, you know? And like the solution is almost always to just get better, right? In most situations. But a lot of people focus on their feelings, how they feel too much. You see what I'm getting at? Like look at the logistics of getting good, focusing on that more than anything else. And then you will see the jobs will come, you know? So if you're focused
Okay.
on like, well, animation, I don't know if animation is as good or if like this or that because of this and this, you know, like look, think of it this way, like Christopher Nolan still made Tenet come out in theaters and people still went to theaters even during COVID, and it did better than they anticipated, even with what everyone was suspecting was going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
um, there was Zendaya, one of my favorite actresses. She filmed the movie during pandemic, but they did stuff like they did stuff like testing and screening, you know?
Hmm.
And so there's a lot of like, yeah, let's see how it did. Yeah, see, it still did pretty well, right? I'm not sure what the budget is. Where's the budget? Do they have the budget? Doesn't actually do have it here. Now, if the theaters were open, would this have done much better? Absolutely, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
But it still did really well, 200 million. I'm just curious to what the actual budget is.
I haven't watched it yet. It looks interesting. Have you watched it?
Nah,
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
going to movies, dude. You crazy?
Oh, yeah. Same.
Yeah, yeah. I'll watch it when it comes out on DVD or something. Uh, like, but like she filmed, right? Even though people are saying they can't film right now. I did an Adobe Max video recording because we're doing Adobe Max, and so it had to be recorded because we're not having the actual event anymore, right? So they sent a camera person over and wore our masks. He set it up in my room, and they had an iPad, and the director and the set designer, they were like on the iPad, and the guy was like walking around, like, what should you do? And I was just moving stuff around. So we were like filming, you know, as if they were there, but they obviously were not there.
Oh, okay.
Do you kind of see like they took a sticky situation and they found some solutions,
Yeah.
right? And this is the kind of thing that I'm about. Like, you know, if you focus a lot of your attention on, if you focus a lot of your attention on the how challenging everything is when you're
Hmm.
barely even just getting started, it's really just not a good spot to be thinking. You know, a better position, I'm trying to tell you, is to just, okay, are there jobs in the industry? Like, are there jobs in the animation industry? Like, even right now? The answer is absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. And are those jobs available to someone like me? Like, could I apply for those jobs? I'm not saying you'll get those jobs. I'm just saying, like, are they accessible? You know? And the answer
Yeah.
again is yeah, right? Especially nowadays where the market has globalized a bit more because of the pandemic, right?
Hmm.
So then it's like, okay, well, I just need to get to work. You know, I need to start making
Yeah.
good artwork, right? Because again, if you focus on anything else, if you're focusing on, well, I don't know about this or that, you're finding like lots of reasons why you shouldn't do something versus why you should do something. And I always tell people, focus on the why you should do something, not on the why you can't. You know,
Yeah.
and then that mentality in general is a really good one for a lot of the situations. And so then you think about like, you know, I'm picking animation not because it's a better job, it's more sustainable. I'm picking it because I like it more. So when I actually do get the job, I'm going to enjoy it a lot more than if I got concept art, even though I like concept art, but I definitely love animation more, you know? And now I'm
Yeah.
doing it and I'm feeling really good about it. You know, you see the big difference there. And I have friends, I'm trying to tell you too, like I have friends who have done the other approach, which is like which job is more available, you know?
Yeah.
And specifically it's like with 3D, you know?
Yeah. There's like a lot of 3D jobs now.
Yeah, and they ended up becoming 3D artists. But now like I'm almost curious if 3D art is going to be a job coming, you know, in the next 5 or 6 years. Like I don't mean that it's like completely evaporated, but I just mean like there's gonna be less and less need for junior level 3D artists because the tools will only have gotten better and the accessibility would have only gotten better at making really impressive art. You know?
Yeah. So it's like more competition, or I guess. Uh,
No.
oh, no. Just the tools are.
Yeah, think of it like this. There was a time where automation had people bolt in the tires and stuff,
Okay.
like to build a car,
Yeah.
right? Like someone actually bolted the tires together, someone bolted the hood of the car, but then they invented the assembly line, and like robotic arms do it now. I'm saying that's like what's happening with 3D. Like there's just automated tools these days that can do all these jobs that the 3D artists are like paid to do.
Hmm.
So their value is diminishing, is what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah, like the scans like I've been
Yeah.
seeing.
Yes. It's the same reason why I've suggested to many of you guys to not do super photorealistic character design, because it's like I can literally just buy a photorealistic character design.
Yeah, and you could also just dress someone up and then do a scan of like a 360 scan of them.
I think you're starting to see the Matrix.
No, oh no, it's like what Activision does, like for Call of Duty.
No, I'm
Like,
saying that you're starting to see the Matrix, like
oh,
Sees the reality as it really is. I'm saying you're right on the money.
okay, yeah.
I'm saying
So
yes.
so everything's
That's
going to
what's
be like
happening.
more stylized, or a need for it will be.
There's going to be more of like the stylized art's going to stand out even more than it did before, and people need to start to find a different style, because there is still, even in stylized art genre, there's like a look to certain stuff. You know, like the WoW look, for instance.
Yeah.
Um, I'm saying that even that is going to change. You know, like there's going to be a need for like really unique looking stuff.
I also have like more personal question. I don't know if you want to answer that like later and give other
Yeah,
people.
let's answer it right now too, since we're on this on yeah, give people more time to think of more questions.
Okay. Yeah. Crap. So like my personal situation. So like I have some money saved up at least for like a year or two. I don't know if I like should drop my job to do art because like art and animation. Like I've been putting like a lot of time into art, especially with
Uh-huh.
this class, which is really cool. Um, but like um, I, I don't know when that time is to like when I should drop my job and just focus on art, or how
Well, it
much money
depends
do
on
I
how
need saved up?
much time your job takes away from you, and how much time you can really work without, or like work in art without worrying about, paying bills.
Hmm.
Because just because you do that, like you go all in, doesn't guarantee a job, you know?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so you want to like be smart about it. And so my advice on that would just be like, just keep working until it makes sense to stop, right? Like you're really getting more leverage. You're starting to see that people are offering you freelance, or you're starting to really get more of a clear path to success, you know?
Hmm.
But if it's still like in the early stages, like you should just um, keep working until you actually feel more comfortable with your actual um, circumstances. Because what I would hate for people to do is just like think that they can go all in and then they can take this opportunity to just all of a sudden get a job. It's not how it's going to work out, right? It's going to take some time. And so one thing that I would recommend is absolutely just keep working until it makes sense to stop, right? Uh, good
Okay.
good good example of this is like I had a friend who worked as a car salesman,
Hmm.
and he just did that forever, And when he got his first, he went to school uh, doing car salesman stuff, right? He um, he went to school doing car salesman things, and then he like went to after school, like he just kept on doing car salesman stuff until he finally got his first job in the industry, and then he took a back seat, you know. But he didn't like be like, all right, I'm gonna just like stop my job and just go all in, right? Like he was smart about it, and even right now, I think he saved up tons of money, and he's thinking about like taking. He was thinking about taking like a whole year off. but now he's just like, no, I'm just gonna take it easy, you know,
Yeah.
and just not worry about the jobs that I get and not worry about the jobs that I have. And if I really want to take a break, I can. But if not, I'll just take new opportunities. So he got offered like another job opportunity, and he really was doing great. You know,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
so like just be smart. Like, there's no reason to like think that you have to have all the time in the world to be the greatest artist.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't even have like just a job, you
Yeah.
know, that they can like rely on. Like if you have at least that, that's actually pretty powerful to just like allow you to buy your time and just like really just take on more classes, buy some more tutorials, and just keep
Hmm.
learning. And then, like I said, eventually, when COVID is all done and did, and like, or not done, but like when people start to either get herd immunity, or we have more vaccines or something, or people start to come to their senses and start wearing masks on a regular basis, you know, especially in the
Yeah.
States specifically. Um, then, you know, people can go out and to do events again, you know, maybe outdoor events. And then you can show your portfolio, get it like properly reviewed and that kind of stuff to hopefully give you an opportunity into the near future, you know?
Hmm.
But yeah, being gung ho about like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go like all in. Like that's just a super Western ideal that I don't necessarily agree with. I think it's smarter to just be more I think it's smarter to just be a lot more essentially like a lot more uh you know, conservative. Just think like, no, I can take my time. I'm just gonna, instead of thinking about going all in all at once, I'm gonna think about it like spending my time wisely in years rather than like in days and months. You know, don't be in such a hurry.
Okay.
Like even when I was talking about working out earlier, right? We were talking about this. It's like, and I was mentioning how I teach you guys to think of it less about like how well you did in a day, but more how well did you do in a year, right? So instead of thinking like, oh, how productive was I today? Oh, I wasn't that productive. Damn, you know, like I suck. Like I'm never gonna make it. You know, it's
Yeah.
very negative. But if you think more like, I drew pretty much every single day, right?
Hmm.
Except for a couple days, you know, holidays and some weekends potentially. But essentially, I worked maybe 300 days out of the year. It's pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
And that
Okay.
results will be obvious too if you actually did keep up to this like standard for yourself, you know? And
Yeah.
again, I could think people focus on like the day to day instead of thinking about the larger, bigger picture.
Okay.
I have a question that kind of goes based off of what you were a little talking about a little bit.
Nope, I can only talk about it once. Sorry.
It just has to do with the career path of a concept artist, and I was going to
Sure.
ask if you could talk a little bit about your experience, how you, when you first got a job, what's it like? Is it better to try to find freelance work, or is it mostly freelance work? You know, just those kind of things. I don't know what to expect going into the industry, so um,
So they have you murder a newborn pelican and drink its blood and eat its heart. So get ready for that.
okay. Yeah,
You're like,
not ready for
oh.
that.
Yeah, well, then you're not going to make it in this business, man. Sorry to tell you.
All right,
Um, you're like, oh man.
I'll have to train.
No, it's as you would expect. I think there's like this kind of romanticized idea of what it might be,
Mhm.
but it's like you show up, they're like, "Hey, draw a thing." You just start
Yeah.
doing it. Like imagine getting a job on now. it's as you would expect in terms of that, but like where it differs is the types of people you work with. That's the thing. So contextually speaking, um, you have to kind of like know what you're working on, who you're working with. Okay, that's usually the variables that are not accounted for. Okay, sometimes you'll work with people that have a very clear vision, very clear idea, and then bam, you're making really cool projects. Sometimes you're working with people that have no idea what they're doing, and now it feels a little bit like a gamble.
Mhm.
you know so my way of thinking about all this is to just stick to the basics. Like, can you draw well? That's probably by far the number one thing you should be focusing on, because if they say, hey, okay, let's say you're designing a remake of Star Wars. Let's just pretend that that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
So then what do you think you'd be doing, right? Like, you're going to be redesigning like Luke Skywalker, you're going to be redesigning like Han Solo and all these characters. So you just start gathering reference and just doing it. It's not like they'll tell you what to do. Like, I'm sorry, it's not like they'll tell you how to do it. That's probably a better way of saying that. All right, they're not going to be like, all right, do 5 thumbnails, do some reference board. Like, they're not. You're supposed to be doing that. Think of it like this. You go to a mechanic, right? You're like, hey, I want you to fix my car, right? That's the task. Fix the car. The car's making some noises. And then on the top of that, you're like, and the way that I want you to do it is to measure this and measure that. And I don't know what I'm talking about, though. Like, I am not a mechanic, but I'm like giving you explicit directions that you at the mechanic are like, what?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, your directors and people they won't be in this position. Now, this is what good art directors and concept leads are supposed to do. Concept artists, concept leads, and art directors will be able to be like, hey, maybe you can do this or do that. But even they won't tell you, right? It's more like they're making sure you're getting your work done.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, your art director is directing you. They're not telling you. They're not teaching you. They're saying, hey, the thumbnails that you did for the concepts, they're great, but we'll get them next time. I don't really feel like they hit the mark, but next time around we'll do better.
Okay.
Like what I do for a class, right? I give you guys, like, some of you guys, you can tell that maybe there's a lot more room to grow, right? Like, obviously your work is still not professional, and there's still some like large gaps in your work, but I'm not here to like, like make fun of you guys and like fire you, right? This is not the context of what this class is about. I'm here to give you advice and tips, right, on how to improve your work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I will tell you artistic stuff. I will tell you why it's a problem, why it's going to hurt you later on. Remember I was talking about the clarity thing? I talked about this earlier. Remember that? Why do I talk about that? Well, if you have a hard time clearing up your own ideas, right? It's not like your art director is going to be able to, in every scenario, give you proper guidance, because they may have a good understanding of what good vision is, like what they do want you to do, but it doesn't actually mean that they know how to do it themselves. Like, they might like here's a way of thinking about it. Like, have you ever met artists that you admire, right? And they're trying to like teach you something, but you can tell that they don't know how to actually teach it, right? Like, just because someone's good at what they do doesn't mean that they actually know how to explain it.
Right.
Make
Yeah.
sense? And so that's what a teacher's supposed to do, not like a director, on a project. And so you're going to discover that pretty quickly, that most people don't know what they're talking about, and but that's like part of your job. You're the concept artist, so you're supposed to artify concepts. Hey, I have a concept: a dragon riding a gorilla. Okay, I think it's super cool, man. Like, it's reminiscent of like, Ninja Turtles, and I like get you all pumped on it. Like use like these types of terms. I'm like, it's gonna be like super 80s feeling, and you're like, that could be pretty cool. It's your job to find the cool visually, right? Like
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I can totally see it. I think it's gonna be super cool, you know?
Yeah.
But I need somebody to help me see it as the client. Get it?
Yeah.
Okay, so now to get into some more brass tacks, like the thumbnailing process, I usually like see what I'm doing right now. This to me is a good example of a concept that I would show somebody, right? It's very clear. There's no confusion of what we're doing here, and they can give me art direction. They can give me feedback and critiques. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And so I'm all about that clarity, dude. Like I want to show somebody something. I want them to be able to tell me why they don't like it or why they like it. And I make that a standard of my students because it will help you out a lot. Okay,
Totally.
to have that mentality. Okay. Because then in some cases you're going to work with a client that's going to want artwork yesterday. They want it like right away.
Yeah.
And if you aren't able to hold on, group these together. Yeah, this is layer 1, 2. We'll group these together. It's 3. 1, 2, 3. What? 3. What? 1. What? 4. Group these together. 5. Group these together. This will be oh no. Yeah, you'll just have less heartache, moving forward as a concept artist and designer.
Cool.
But like I said, you have some clients that would want something like yesterday. Some clients will want stuff like in a week. They don't mind. For instance, I'm art directing on this project. I'm pretty much the only artist on the project as well. And so we have like this pretty important meeting next week, Thursday. And, they're asking me like, what should we show? Should we show this? Should we show that? They're like, yeah, like you just started and it's kind of weird to have you show a lot of stuff to the publisher. Like we just got started, and they're already like, this seems really unreasonable to kind of like have you already do a lot of things, And I said, no, it's all good. And I said, okay, here's what we do. And I talked to my game director about it. And I said, I'm going to do about like 10 images. And he's like, wait, what? 10? And I was like, yeah, I think I could do 10. And he's just like, what the F? And I was like, yeah, 10's totally reasonable. I can do it. And I'm going to do a couple pages of concepts of characters, a couple pages of environments, a couple pages of maybe some creatures, some main characters, some moments. Yeah, I think I can do all this stuff. Some are going to be more fleshed out than others. But generally speaking, we should hit the ground running, really blow the socks off, right? And in my mind, I'm like 10 pages, 10 images in total. That'll be between 10 to 15 hours of work for me. And I started Tuesday. So in my mind, that's a few hours every day. I can do it. And I'm already at 6. So I only have 4 more to go.
Nice.
Yeah. And so we have till Thursday. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I could probably do, because I have meetings too, right? So it's like hard to just work all day. But I'm probably going to work on the weekend. So on Monday, I'll have it all done. But if for whatever reason I don't want to, because I'm tired or bored, I'll just do it on Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And hope, because I think the publisher is not expecting anything either. I think they're not entirely unreasonable. They're not going to be like, we're expecting you guys to have 17 million pieces of, like, they know that even the game director just started 2 weeks ago. So
Mhm.
for him to have like a lot of stuff too is kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
But it's more of like a vote of confidence to see that, okay, this team's going to probably be pretty competent,
Hmm.
which I already believe we are. Because my game director did a presentation internally for the team, and people were like, what, already? Like, this is super cool you guys are doing. They're already super pumped based off of the few concepts that I did, and the what you call it, the game, like the game director's direction and vision for the project.
Yeah.
It's partly why I joined the team, is because he's working on it.
That's cool. So every
Anyway,
work environment is a little bit different depending on the people that you're working with.
yeah,
What about
absolutely.
like, what was your first experience like? How did you get your job?
Oh, just my friend.
Hmm.
He's like, hey, this is my good friend. Like, they're like, hey, we're looking for concept artists. And he's like, are we now?
Oh,
And
okay.
so he threw my name in the ring, and then I got that job. And it's just still how it is. Like, this job that I got, the game director knew me from the previous project that we worked on.
Hmm.
And they asked him, hey, do you know anybody that would be a really good art director? And he's like, oh, do I?
That's
And
awesome.
then, like, that's what I'm telling you guys. Like, it's part of the job is not just about that quality, it's about actually making good connections and friendships with people. So that way you can actually have those opportunities.
So what is the best way to make those kind of connections?
What do you think would be a good way?
I guess doing stuff like this where you get to meet other artists and
Yeah, you got it, dude. It really here's a philosophy that I have about networking that will be helpful. Is try to make friends, don't network.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's technically networking. Let's just be clear. I'm not saying don't network literally. Like, you should network. Okay. What I mean by don't network and like make friends, hopefully you can understand what I mean by this, means that, like, if your focus is on trying to make friends in industry, right? Regardless if they're a student or an art director or lighting artists, or, like, you're just making friends. You're just going around making some good old friendships. You know,
Right. Yeah.
um, that's a great way of getting opportunities in this industry. Okay, like, that's the way that I'm talking about. Like, because even that lighting artist that you made friends with, be like, they're gonna be like, hey, we're looking for concept artists, and you and this guy are like really good buds, and or you guys like hung out at like a party and you guys really got along, and he's just like, dude, I like that guy. Maybe he's available. Let me ping him on Facebook or something.
Hmm.
That's how it works, man. It's like that's how a lot of these jobs get made.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense why that's true. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Because what I want you to think about is making friends, right? Because if you think about it the other way, about like networking for the sake of networking, let's imagine that you run into somebody who is a really friendly person, but they're just a student, just like you. And you guys are getting along, but then you see some sort of art director walk by that you know of, and you're like, oh, I have to talk to this person. And instead of just like, maybe finish a conversation or just letting that person know, you just kind of like walk off, whatever. You're like, hey, I just got to go. I want to go talk to this guy. Even though you're like in mid conversation, really like getting into it.
Yeah.
Um, and then you talk to the art director. Art director is just like a real a-hole, man. They're not really nice to you. They're really rude, very dismissive, but you're just kind of pandering. you're
Yeah.
just like, yeah, man, like totally, I am a loser. I don't think that would happen at that level, but you get the point, right? Like you're just kind of
Right.
like you can feel principally you're not acting like yourself.
Right.
Like you could feel it. Maybe they don't see it, and then that's the situation, right? So, and let's say you get that job. Like let's say that pandering worked, and that guy is like, I like this guy. you know, he's really good brown noser. And he hires you, and now you're working for this guy, and you start to realize, I generally hate working for this guy. Like
Yep.
this guy is kind of a dick. Yeah, sure, I'm working at a nice studio, and sure, like my title's nice, but like I hate every day of my life.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
um, and then let's say the other person that you were talking to, right? Um, the one that you just kind of like shunned because you went for the opportunity rather than the friendship. You know, uh, like he goes out or she goes out, they leave the event, they go home, they get a lot of really great portfolio reviews, so they got really serious and they start staying focused for the next 5 to 6 years. And guess what? This person ultimately becomes an art director themselves, right? Think about the situation, you know, that the person that you really got along with, you kind of just was like, oh, I gotta go opportunities, right? And they end up becoming an art director or a lead concept artist or someone really of high stature themselves. You see?
Right.
And if you were to remain friends, or if you ever became friends, there's a good chance that person would have reached out to you. You see what I'm getting at? When the time is right. So it's when you think about friendships instead of like thinking about opportunities, stuff like that happen, and it happens a lot, right? And it's like having like a stock option, right? Like you're paying stocks, and some stocks just are garbage, and others end up becoming really amazing and really fulfill you. So this is a great example of that situation. Okay.
Right.
and and I'm not saying that like you shouldn't talk to art directors and stuff if you're like talking to somebody who's like at your same level, and clearly you guys aren't going to help each other get jobs like right at that moment because both of you guys are kind of scrubs. you know but like, why can't you just be like, hey, we should go talk to his art director? It's like together, even if you knew that person might actually have a better shot because they're so much better. This, like you've seen their work, and like, oh my god, this person's pretty good. Maybe it's still not professional, but you just know they're good. But it's not a matter of, oh, let's go talk to this art director um, by myself. I was like, hey, we should both go because I feel like we are bonding here. We're good, becoming friends. you know, you don't say that out loud, but you can just feel that that's happening. And it's like, yeah, man, like let's focus on friendship, not on getting them jobs, right? Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you start to have that mentality, it's really a a good moral standing to you. Just won't feel like you're fake either. You know what I mean? Like you will feel like uh, you are the person you say you are, right?
Right. Yeah. Not putting on a front.
Yeah. Which seems like an obvious thing to kind of know, but you'd be surprised, man. Trust me.
I mean, that's not what
Surprised.
they teach you in school about interviewing for jobs, right? So.
Yeah, they're all about like get that job, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like they don't account for, but what's the job and who am I
Right.
working for, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all like just get that job, just make that money, make that
Hmm.
cheddar, dude.
Totally.
Like walk over everybody. They don't say that explicitly, but they definitely imply it,
Yeah.
you know. And when you're like in the portfolio reviews, there's a little bit of that, man. It's unnecessary. We're all in this together, man. And I mean it. There's not a lot of jobs. Um, I'm sorry. There's not a lot of badasses, but there's a lot of jobs. Trust me on this, man. Like the problem isn't that there isn't jobs. The problem is nobody's good enough.
Mm.
Okay. And like I said, the world's globalizing now, so it might have been entirely not true what I've said because depending on where you live, there might literally not be jobs. But like I said, that's changed because of websites like Glassdoor. where you can literally find a job. I guess it wants me to sign in. That's fine. We'll sign in. Okay. And let's do concept artist. Okay. I'm looking in Irvine, California specifically, but concept artist for Overwatch 2. Concept artist, just in general for at Blizzard. It's still paying low, Blizzard. Didn't you guys get the memo? Concept artist for Lord of the Rings. Cool. Concept artist for New World. Senior concept artist at Tencent. Senior concept artist at Blizzard. Lead concept artist at Ready at Dawn.
So a lot of these say like lead and senior. There are a lot of jobs, as I can see, but if you're a student, would you be applying for those at all? Like, wouldn't you apply for a junior or just regular concept artist?
Well, some of these just said concept artist. They
Okay, yeah.
didn't even say lead concept artist. Some of them did. But that goes to my original point of, like I just told you, which is that, yeah, so Legacy Pictures, concept artist,
Yeah,
Blizzard,
okay.
concept artist, 3D concept artist at MSG, concept artist, concept
Okay.
artist, 2D concept artist, concept artist, concept artist. There's a lot of jobs here in California. Where are you at?
I'm in Austin.
Oh, there's stuff there too. Let's find out though. Let's be for sure. And let's go 100 miles. But like I'm telling you, like even concept artist, concept artist, concept artist, senior concept artist, senior concept artist, senior concept artist. Like I'm telling you, like they exist.
Yeah.
Principal game artist, that could be somewhat of a concept and 3D artist. You know?
Mhm.
And this is like local to you. There's look like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 concept art jobs available.
Mm.
Question is, are you good enough?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Boss Fight Entertainment. Let's see what they're about. They got a great rating too.
I
This
know
is really hard to
somebody.
do on Glassdoor. I think there's a little bit of like a bias because I think people get real disgruntled. The game industry is a little bit on edge. We're not really good to each other. I think it's unfair to think about us like every studio that gets like a 3-star rating that's terrible. Because I worked
Yeah.
at Blizzard, for instance, and they got a 3.6. I loved working there. So I think it's
Yeah.
just some people just got like fucked over maybe, or they just felt overworked. But there is some legitimate critiques. I'm not trying to say that it's like all like rainbow and sunshines. I'm just saying like just some people are just a little too aggro. So they make a game called Dungeon Boss.
Yeah,
And
I
everyone
actually
over
know
there is just super
somebody.
happy, dude.
I know somebody who works there.
Oh, see, that's
Yeah.
your step into the door, dude. And it's really literally like that's how it is. So concept artist, dude. That's right here. You know? Now, whether you want to work on the style, I just went on a whole rant about like you should definitely pick on a style that you prefer. But if you throw your hat in the ring and you have stuff that they're looking for, it looks like specifically Dungeon Boss. I don't know what else they're doing. They might be working on a new project, you know? And this is why they're wrapping up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this is like a thing. Like if you look like around the world, there's like plenty of jobs,
Mm.
right? And some places will relocate you too. But like I said, we're in a different time where that's starting to becoming like people are just like, do I though? Do I have to relocate? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And everyone else is like, yeah, I don't know. Like, do we have to relocate? And that's totally reasonable too.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing
dude.
that.
Yeah, but like I said, it's a different situation for every studio. So I'm not going to even sit here and say that like working at um, Blizzard is the same as working at, you know, like working on films and games, that alone, right? There's
Mhm.
a lot of differences. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not as simple and as clear cut as like, yeah, if you work at Blizzard, life is great, you know, uh, and it's really easy to do concepts, or working in film is easier. It's just like depending on where you decide to work will dictate the kind of appeal that you'll have when you actually work there. I worked on films. Some films I hated working on, other films I love working on. So it really
Yeah.
just depends.
Cool. Awesome. This is looking really cool.
Yeah, this is inspired by Among Us.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. It's pretty
This is
awesome.
the kill where like he opens his mouth and he shoots like some sort of tentacle at your face. So I'm gonna caption this as like, how's that electrical? And he just stab you right in the face. I was gonna put like a dead body, but I was like, that's too big brain, dude. I don't want to do that much work.
Yeah, now it looks like you're about to get killed by the
Yeah.
imposter.
I was gonna put him in the shadow, and then like I think it's still a great idea of like putting a dead body in the foreground, like you're about to
Mm.
report, and then he like
Yeah.
it's too late. Like I think it's a good idea, but I'm too lazy to draw it in.
Just do the stylized like chicken, like turkey leg looking dead body.
Yeah, I was
just
gonna,
the
man,
cartoon one.
I should have done it, man. I should have committed. It was gonna be like half a torso, but instead of like just bones, it would have been like intestines and their stuff like lying around. But
Awesome.
only you guys will know the true potential of this image. I think it'll still have a strong appeal.
Where's the location?
It's electrical.
Oh, electrical. Okay.
Yeah, like he's waiting for people to turn on the lights again.
That's so funny. Awesome.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to. At least I'll do that much. I'll put some like electrical looking wiring.
You gotta put a vent, right? Like,
Yeah, that's too big brain. I'm not trying to be that serious about my fan art.
like you're
Yeah,
so funny.
yeah. I'm just trying to do just enough that it will be cool, like people will have a reaction to, but not enough um, that like I have to spend another hour on this. Just like enough to make people be like, "Oh, this is cool."
Definitely cool.
Did you mean to put a shadow on top of the needle tip there? What is that?
Like right here.
Yeah, because I thought that was
Yeah,
the shadow of the thing.
yeah. I did that specifically because I wanted to give this more form,
All right.
but I could make it all the way across. I think it's dark enough now behind it. I was afraid that it wouldn't be dark enough, but I think you're right. Maybe you can totally add more.
No, the drop shadow that you made for this thing, like also goes on top of the tip of it.
Oh yeah, you're
That
right.
doesn't make any. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I should fix that. Thank you. Yeah, good catch. Totally true life. You mean this right here?
Such a
Yeah.
tiny detail.
No, I did. I meant to. What are you talking about? I thought you were talking about this shadow right here.
No.
I see what you're talking about. Yeah, I meant to do that, dude. That's artistic liberties, dude.
Wow.
I'm the professional here. Okay.
I should
So
be a mentor. Yeah.
yeah, like I should start my own mentorship on how to like get the finer things correct. That's so funny. No, you're right. Absolutely. I'm gonna totally do that. Now it feels a little bit more coming at you. Great, great catch. I would have never saw that.
Cool.
But like I just don't I won't I'm not even big brain enough to try to draw a whole nother character. I'm not gonna like paint over a shadow. Are you crazy? Like I'm not even willing to change that, yeah. But anyway,
Looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks so great.
cool.
They gotta do a more realistic version of this game.
It's probably in the works. Not them, but some other developer probably is like, "Oh, dude, we should make like a first-person version of this game. It'll be
Oh, totally.
terrifying."
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
There is another one called Project Winter that is
Mm.
kind of similar.
Someone's trying to make Among Us in VR chat. I mean, it's like it's first person, obviously, because
Mhm.
and it's actually scary. It's horrifying, actually, like
Oh.
the first person view because of the vision.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
That's
turning off the
crazy.
lights, dude, and then just being like, "Oh shit." Anyway, does any of you guys have any other questions? We have to end the class.
I have like a small question.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I always wondered like who's your favorite artist or artists? You know.
There's too many, man.
Okay.
Just go to my art station and look at my likes. That's all my favorite artists.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I like to think of it like this. Like, I am a person that I feel like lots of people that I admire, like a lot of the artists that I love and appreciate. I always feel that whenever I do a painting, they're always watching over me, like they're like behind me. Like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. Ooh, I would have made that shape this way. Like thinking of it in those terms. You know what I mean? Like where I'm thinking about like shapes and rendering and anatomy. Like, Kevin Chen would be like talking about my anatomy. Where Ryan Meinerding might be talking about my shapes. Where Phil Hale's talking about how I'm painting. Do you see how I'm like getting at? Like how I'm actually thinking about you know what I mean? Like how I'm actually thinking about the process, right? Like I'm not really like caught up on like I only listen to one voice. Like I have all these people talking to me with every mark that I make.
Okay.
So there's a lot of artists, but I will tell you the artist that I appreciated a lot when I first started was Leyendecker, JC Leyendecker. So if I had to answer that question more deliberate, like literally, like if there was one person, it would be him for sure. But like I said, I'm so far removed from it. Like you can't look at my work and see Leyendecker. It's just not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
JC Linedecker is like crazy good.
Yeah. Lens, dirt, texture. I'm gonna put some old school techniques. Yep, this texture I've used since the beginning of time. It's kind of blurry, but it should be fine. I'm going to put this on screen to really make this feel cinematic. Yeah, maybe it's too blurry now. Yeah, I need a higher res version. It's fine. I'll just leave it as it is. Quiet, computer. All right, that's fine. We should call it done.
Awesome.
Yeah, actually, no. One more thing. One more color lookup. Just to see. Yeah, that's pretty tight. 3D strip or 3 strip. Okay, I'll come back to you. 3 strip. This feels more like a David Fincher film. This one has a lot of life. Crisp winter. Okay, 3 strip crisp winter. Film stock is always nice. Fuji is pretty nice. It's very cinematic. Just too dark. Ooh, horror blue. Oh, this one's pretty nice. Tension green. All right, let's go back to film stock. Chris Winter, I was looking at. Let's look at 3 strip again. I might go with Tension Green because it's a complimentary. There you go. Yeah, definitely that. Let's do 50%, so it's not too aggressive. Yeah, cool.
Nice.
Then I'm going to save this to the desktop for now. 2. Then I'm going to do. Hey, let me save it again. A, so I can flatten this. So I could do a cool little tutorial and be like, background. I could probably combine these. Character silhouette, paint the details in. I could probably combine these two. And then just fully render it. It feels like I'm missing a step, right?
Nice.
Then draw the rest of the owl. Yeah.
Draw the rest, draw a circle,
Ah,
and then draw the rest of the owl. I love that. That's pretty basic. Like even like it feels like a lot has happened. All I did was add a color adjustment and then just painted from there, right? It wasn't like I did something crazy. But it just looks like it, right? It looks like there's so much work that went from here to here, but not really. You guys saw it happen, you know?
did you use a airbrush for the tail or the thing to make it so foggy or smooth?
No, I actually blurred it. I used like a blur filter.
Oh, got it.
Anyway. All right, friends. That's it from me.
Cool.
Yep. So you guys have a great weekend. There is a thing that I forgot to tell you guys about. It just reminded me right now. I might move the class again, but it'll be in your favor in the sense that you guys will have more time to a Thursday. But it all depends because what's happened is that I forgot that Adobe had scheduled this thing months ago, and on Tuesday I'm doing a stream in the morning. So I'm thinking about what I can do. So I have to look at my schedule again. It sucks because I'm pretty good about scheduling stuff, but the 2 things that have been really derailing my classes is like the stuff that I scheduled months ago. I need to start looking months ahead now when I schedule stuff because I forget. Like it's like, oh yeah, I'll just schedule this, and usually I give myself a 2 or 3 day notification, so it tells me, hey, you got this thing, but I forget, and then 2 days later, it's like, hey, remember to do this thing, and I'm like, oh shit, I scheduled like all this other stuff prior, like things that are consecutive, like a class, and now it's landing on that day, and now it's like effing everything up. So I'll look at it again, but like I said, I think it'll be in your guys' favor, give you guys more time. But anyway, regardless, thanks again for the great work. Keep up the positive vibes. And I'll share this with you guys right now so you guys can take a look at it. Take it.
So just to clarify, it's Thursday and Friday next week.
It might be, yeah.
Okay.
But I'll need to double check because I might have done something on Thursday too because I'm an idiot and I schedule things I don't know. But I'll check soon. I'm going to take a long nap before I have meetings all day today. But there you go, the Among Us concept art. If they ever decide to make a film, they should hire me. I would not design the suit to look like that. That's to service the game's art, so it's familiar, right? I'll design it to look like super sick, like super tight.
Among Us would actually be a cool movie idea.
Well, that's the thing. It already is a movie. Like it's several movies. It's like Alien.
Yeah.
It's like The Thing. You know, like they already actually exist. It's just a game version of those movies.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the opposite. Yeah, I get what you're saying though.
it.
But like, yeah, just watch The Thing, and it is a good movie. Like, you're right. It would make a good movie. Anyway, cool. Talk to you guys later. Cheers.
Thank
See ya.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
For watching this video. I appreciate it. Please subscribe to watch more in the future. If you like the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you like this content, you can go to my website, robotpencil.net, where you can find mentorships, tutorials, and a Patreon to get more exclusive content. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in my next videos.